That is the point I wanted to make, that we tend to ignore the symptoms of radicalization when they are appearing because they are innocuous looking. And once they turn malignant, and then we don't know what to do. But as far as the way out is concerned, well, there are no quick fixes, no easy solutions. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be time consuming. At times it's going to be bloody also. We have to be prepared for sacrifices. And I keep on getting mails where people say, "Marte hain to mare," but let's take them on. It's that sort of determination I see in the resolve of the people, particularly after the last interview of Sufi Muhammad. One was yesterday, the speech in which he said that the democracy is un-Islamic and the judges are un-Islamic and all that. The people said, "Oh no, what is he talking about?" That's the important role the media has played. It has done. You can literally feel the change in the public opinion and a resolve building up to take these people on. So what we need is a very well thought out national security strategy to deal with this problem on a sustained basis. The government, for its part, has decided to set up an organization which intends to coordinate the effort of all the departments and get our act together. It's called the National Counter-Terrorism Authority, and we are in the process of setting it up. And this will move on in collaboration with all the stakeholders. And the most important role will that be of the academicians, of the research people, who are going to guide us as to what's the way out or what's the way forward.
The Pakistani organizations were motivated to get training and to go to fight against the Russians, the invaders in Afghanistan. And at that time actually Saudi was also in the picture. And I want to explain it that before America has announced Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, nobody in Pakistan was aware of these names even. We had never heard of Al-Qaeda. Even Osama bin Laden was a stranger for us. And it was just suddenly highlighted by America. So America has more information than us about them. Anyhow, at that time, Saudi was also in the picture, and America was trying to stop the Russians there in Afghanistan, and they were trying to use Pakistan. We couldn't send officially our army there, so our religious organizations were taken on board, and they were invited to get training, and they were given arms. And because of Saudi only, a particular school of thought was given that opportunity. And it is not a hidden fact. You know, we are in Islamabad. If I have my own plot there and I want to construct my own home in Islamabad without having permission and recognition by the city, I cannot lay a brick there. But on the green belts, if there are multi-story buildings, definitely they are with the help of government and agencies also. So there are so many things which might be taken in consideration. Being minister, I have some restrictions also. So actually, when I was here and presentations were made, and I thought that I won't be able to give any further addition to your knowledge, because you are so particular and in academic reference that and you are seeing the things in so many from different dimensions. So I won't be able to add anything in there. Anyhow, if there is any ambiguity, what I have said, then inshallah I would try to explain that. Thanks a lot.
Profit-seeking industry. So we have moguls, media owners. You take Pakistan, how many media moguls? You take India, who controls media? So there is a business model of media. Last night we met a media head from a radio station from Kashmir. And his business card, the other side of the business card says, group of companies, hotels, constructions, whatnot. Media comes last. So I asked him, what does make much of profits? He said other businesses. Not media. He has 2 radio channels. If you take Sri Lanka, none of the media stations make profits. None. Only the state media make some profits because of state sponsorships. All the private stations are making losses. In contrast, Pakistan, you make profits here. Media really making profit. India, you make profits. But you have a very big question now. If you are not making profits, why are you running a business? What is the purpose of this business? Can you tell me what is the purpose?
If we analyze the role of media in general in both these cases, we have seen a biased, unprofessional, and questionable behavior. In the Northeast conflict, it was ethnically biased and politically polarized, meaning which the Tamil media always are pro-LTT. They see the LTT struggle as a freedom fight,